check. Am I coming in loud and clear? Not sure, but hopefully I am. Hey everyone, it's Scott here. It's been a while. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Been a bit of a slow start for me in 2022, but out and about on a little adventure today and wanted to invite you to come along with me. Headed that way right now, and I'm almost there actually at a place called Landsford Canal, and it's in South Carolina, and it's pretty cool. It's an old canal system from the late 1800s, and apparently there's some remnants of the old canal way that can still be found right there in the wooded area inside the park, Lansford Canal Park. But anyways, about to be there here in a minute and wanted to invite you to come along, so let's go check out Lansford Canal. There it is, Lansford Canal. Here we are. All right, so let's head down and see if we can find the canal trail, I believe it's called. Really nice day to be outside, I know that much. Here is Canal Trail, and there is the Catawba River. Look at that. Tell me that isn't comforting. Let's listen to that. Quite the scene. You can just imagine back in the early days, the Catawba Indians on the river here. They're really nice out here because the river is just flowing, and even though we're in the midst of winter, I've actually chosen a day to come out here that's really nice outside, not too cold. So I guess we'll just head down here, then we'll pass by the spider lilies and then head toward Lansford. It's really neat to see something so old still standing in the middle of the woods. Okay, on this side we do have some information which should help me with my history, as I have a limited amount of history involving the old canal. This is called the guard lock, and that is apparently it was used to safely lower boats into the canal with high river levels threatening to damage the banks and structures. So that is where the guard lock still stands after all these years. And it's really, really quiet. Just hear the crunching of the leaves. Just like I guess I'm still hearing like just the sound of the river, even from being this far down the trail. Make sure my microphone is positioned right so you can hear me. Yeah, just listen to that. It's like nothing. I am seeing a placard down here, so we might be about to come up on another portion of the Lansford Canal system from the late 1800s. And you know, something I've always got confused, like the late 1800s is actually the 19th century. Where you would think, if you just initially think about it, you would think that would be the 18th century. But the 1700s are actually the 18th century. Have you ever thought about that? The more history documentaries I've done, I've really, at the beginning, I remember thinking, wait a minute, it doesn't seem right, but that's the way that it is. And I guess if you wind back and do the math, it makes sense, but that always threw me off a bit. Here would be the footbridge section, and this must be the bridge area that I was talking about. There it is, where you could walk over it. And here is the old boats and whatnot that they would especially make for the canalway here. It sounds like the bridge area was a key factor of success navigating down the canalway. Here it is, remnants of the past still standing, which always completely fascinates me. What do we have here? A little keyhole? Could there be a secret key? There's definitely some moss. Can we go up on the old bridge area? Looks like you can. Just imagine here, as you look down, you would have had boats coming straight down the canal, man on board, with all the goods and supplies they needed to be able to get through this area, and straight down that way. There's the other end of it. Looks even more heavily covered with moss from all the years it sat out here in the middle of the woods, at one point serving a major purpose to the Catawba area, now just a shadow of the past. Let's continue down. And it's actually really neat to see water still in the canal area. It has been raining in this area, so to be here when it's filled kind of zaps you back to something, or to the look that it would have had back in those days, especially this part. This is pretty full of water. And they said, I've read, that you didn't even need much water in the canal itself, because the boats that were made for the canalway could actually stay afloat. And I think I've read as little as, 15 inches of water or something. I could be wrong, but I know it wasn't that much. So what was that, like 3 sections so far we've passed by? And I think before too long we should be passing the area where the spider lilies are on full display in the springtime, when in season, spring and summer, I believe. I'm hearing the river a little louder, so I believe we're approaching it. All right, here we go. The canal's taking a turn here. So we've got a bend in the canal, and then the state. Oh, look at that. That's a nice shot right there. That in itself could be a painting or a portrait. I do see another placard before we enter onto that bridge system. And then, like I was saying, the state has very kindly put a bench that you can just sit there and enjoy looking at the bend of the canal. So we've got a sign here, Canal Trail and the Nature Trail. And we have a little pathway here we can walk down. See this, man, look at this. Sometimes it's things like this that remind you that there's a world out there to see and take in, other than a digital device, a TV or a couch. Look at that. one of the things too this year that I would like to do is every mission I go, or not a mission, a quest, every adventure that I take you guys on with me, especially outdoors. Well, I guess mainly outdoors for this purpose, but I would like to once and for all spot and film a bald eagle. So that is going to be on my list of when I'm out and about in nature, maybe on a hike or something like this. Be on the lookout for a bald eagle. Now, I had never seen one in person, in real life, until not long ago. We were actually in Williamsburg. I just pulled out of our favorite gas station, Wawa, with a coffee in hand, came across the red light, and I looked up, and there was a bald eagle not too far above the van in the sky. Of course, a good ways from the van, but close enough where I could tell it was a bald eagle. So that was the first experience, but I've never seen one in the wild. So that's going to be on the bucket list of exterior outside nature adventures, to see a bald eagle in the wild. So we'll see if it happens in 2022. And I'm guessing over in that area over there is where they said the spider lilies, the most abundant population of spider lilies, they say, in the world, is right here at Lansford Canal. And if you look online, if you just Google it, it is pretty amazing how many there are out in the middle of the river. And it looks like they might grow like around the rock areas. There's some type of undergrowth in the river, maybe a shallow part of the river. That's a neat looking tree. Man, look at that. That is so neat. And this almost looks like the end of the canal. Maybe this is where the canal or the boats would trickle down into to enter into the actual canal area, which that's honestly looking like that. And it's really amazing to think that the canal is, I mean, it's not operational, but I mean, it is filled with water right now and still serving its purpose that it was built for all those years ago. Pretty mesmerizing. And we're getting closer to the spider lilies and not too much farther to the Lansford Canal. This must be the spider lily area. I believe I've seen this in pictures online. Yeah, this is spider lilies. And like I said, I don't believe we're going to be able to see any, but this would be where you come on this little viewing deck to see them. So they're the last free-flowing Lansford. So it says the Landsford Canal State Park hugs the last free-flowing stretch of the Catawba River and includes the largest known stand of rocky shoal spider lilies. So it is rocky shoal spider lilies. And their tough plants with a spring blanket of white blooms are named for the shallow rocky stretches of river they need to survive. This would be the area where you could see them all out on those rocky parts found all throughout the Catawba River here. Here in a few months will be completely bloomed. Pretty neat. Let's continue along the trail. Or is this the end of the trail? I guess I should ask. Does look like... Okay, so that's a break-off point to get to the spider lilies, and we can continue right here around the bend to go see the rest of the Lansford Canal. The remnants of the Lansford Canal. But this is a... Now, I'm not exactly sure what that is, but that definitely has some age. It's the same building style as we've seen before, so maybe something was over top of this, because I don't see a boat fitting through that little area, so maybe something rested on top of it, is what I'm thinking. Oh, maybe this will tell us. The culvert. At several points along its path, the canal crossed towards natural streams flowing toward the river. To avoid damage to the fragile canal bed, the streams were channeled under the canal through the culverts. This arch culvert consisted of a wing wall on the outside of both canal banks, an arched stone channel that passed under the canal bed through which the stream flowed. Portions of both the entrance and the exit arch and walls still remain. If you look closely between them, you can see the foundation stones of the arch channel which carried water under the canal bed. So if you look closely between them, you can see the foundation stones. So can we see those? Yeah, I guess that would be them right there. Look at that. Ooh. Looks like we have a staircase here we have to climb up as we approach yet another section of the old Lansford Canal. The Canal Bed. So lots of information all along the path here. It says it's not always straight, but curves in several places, like we saw that bend. The upper part of the canal was straight across the level land. The greatest difficulty being the bedrock was encountered. This was blasted out, so they would blast it out probably with dynamite. And some of it being used in the actual construction of the canal. So there is a look of the blue Carolina sky. Nice and blue. Very good weather out here today for this little adventure to officially kick off 2022. A little late, but better late than never. And I believe right around the bend is something. I see some brick. So another section of the old canal system. Oh wow, a lot of different parts here. Look at that. I mean, at one time served a huge purpose for the people all up and down the East Coast, I would imagine. Coming through here to travel to the necessary part of the country they need to get to, and this would have been one of their must-taken areas to be able to ship supplies and goods. And this is the mill complex, and it's near its halfway point, the canal past the mill complex by William Richardson Davy around 1810. So this is the early 1800s. So it was an actual saw and lumber, or the mill sawed lumber and ground grain, both by use of water power, it says. So this is the old mill right here. At one point, a fully functioning, working operation. And then this right here looks really awesome. Look at this. So this would have been the actual canal bed, I believe right here, where we're walking through, would have actually been the area where the boats would have traveled down. Imagine just sailing through this and seeing this rock on both sides of you. That is so cool. You can just see the age of this. Wonder how high the water would have went. I guess it would have depended on, the weather and how much rain would have happened to get it to its max level. It's so neat to walk through. And I know I've said it quite a few times already, but that sound right there is so peaceful. There's nothing like being outside and hearing the rushing waters, just constantly just giving you that peaceful ambiance. It's quite refreshing. I do need to keep an eye on the time because the sun is beginning to set, and I want to be mindful of that because I think I'll probably have, by the time I get out of here, I think it said 45-minute walk. Maybe I don't want to walk too much farther. But anyways, I'm about to jump over to the phone while I charge this camera up, so it might sound a little different, but it'll all work nonetheless. But here it is. Look at this. We do have a placard over there we'll need to read to learn a little bit more about it, but let's go ahead and get down here and get a visual. Look at this, like different levels. And it looks like the bridge is still intact down there. Look at that. So just imagine the boats just streaming through here, full of goods and supplies. Who knows what they were carrying? I guess food and tobacco and crops of some sort. I'm not exactly sure what these little openings are. I don't know what that is. But I do see them throughout the canalway here too, in different spots. Let's go read more about this real quick. Definitely got to keep an eye on time. Time is the enemy. The upper lifting locks. The stone structure here is a double lifting lock and was used to lower or raise boats from one level in the canal bed to another. That must be the different levels we're seeing. Lansford Canal has one other similar pair of lifting locks located about 1 mile south of here, where the canal re-enters the river. Together, they carried boats through a change in elevation of 32 feet. Wooden doors called Mitri gates, not sure exactly how you pronounce it, were hinged by iron straps into the rounded channels, on either side of the lock. Maybe that's the openings we were seeing. And there were 3 pairs of gates at this point. When shut, each pair of gates pointed upstream at an angle, so they were held securely closed by water pressure and were impossible to open under the water level on either side of the gates. Impossible to open under the water level on either side of the gates was equalized. We're unable to open until the water level on either side of the gates was equalized. The water depths in the locks was adjusted by an opening and closed small doors over the channel, which passed through the stone walls. These doors moved vertically in a frame attached to the masonry and could be adjusted from the top of the wall. The remains of the fastenings for this hardware and the square openings for the channels are still evident, and that is what we were seeing. The square openings, that's what they were. So very, very cool. And there's a piece of artwork showing it. Different, not exactly sure what they called. I guess just boats, but I'm not sure if there's a specific name for the type of boat that came down the canalway. Let's walk on it real quick. Seems like a popular thing to do. Being mindful to not get too close over there. And then maybe we'll end it out with a walk over the bridge. There it is. Different levels of this little area would lift the boats further down the channel. And it does look like the trail continues. Of course, they're going for it, so maybe I should go for it. Before we take a walk over the bridge, let's read what it says here. Construction of stonework. So most of the finely cut granite used in the locks and other structures came from a nearby quarry. Other features were built out of rough field stone and stone cut out of canal beds. Very interesting. I like how they have the artwork at each of the information posts, the placards. Not sure exactly what the terminology for that is, to be honest. Here it says, the Great Indian Warrior Trading Path, the Great Philadelphia Wagon Road, the most heavily traveled road in colonial America passed through here, linking areas from the Great Lakes to Augusta, Georgia, laid on ancient animal and Native American trading warrior paths. Indian treaties among the governors of New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia, and the 19th chief of the Iroquois League of Five Nations in 1685 and 1722 opened the colonial backcountry for peaceful settlement and colonization. In South Carolina, the path forked going west through Rock Hill, Chester, and Newberry, and east through Camden on animal salt trails. Quite a significant piece of history right there. In the middle of practically nowhere. Let's take a quick walk over the bridge. This is so cool. This like cobblestone roadway. Probably not the most convenient thing for a horse to travel over. But here is a look over the bridge into the canal itself. Amazing. Watch my step. Such a neat thing to see after you've seen it in pictures. To be right here up on it. And it's definitely wet, so I don't know how full this thing currently gets, but you can see the worn water residue on the walls of it, so I would imagine water is still coming through here. Of course, there is grass over there, so I'm not sure if it just gets muddy or if water actually manages to fill the area. Kind of love this medieval arch type architecture right there. Like the slate rock. Very cool. All taken from a nearby quarry, it said. And the riverbed, I believe it said as well. Gotta get a vantage point from here. Don't walk too close to the edge. Any way you look at it, it's a really cool thing to see sitting after all these years in the middle of the woods in South Carolina. But it's time for me to head back to the car before the sun goes down and the park rangers start blowing their air horn to signal that I'm in trouble and probably have a fine resting on my windshield, which hopefully that doesn't happen. But thank you guys for coming along. Thank you for your support of the channel through the years. Lucky to say we're over 5,600 subscribers and growing every day. And it's my job to get out there and continue to make content that you enjoy watching. And when you do watch it, you do like the content, subscribe, share. It means a whole heck of a lot to me. So that's gonna wrap it up on this one. Once again, thanks for coming along and all your support. You'll never know how grateful I am. But for now, I'm gonna close this out. This one's officially over, and I'll see you guys soon on the next one.